Hey, what's good, y'all? C. Will here with the Passive Income Network. I'm tapping in to talk to you about my new show. Today is the first episode to my new show called My Journey to Riches. So, the whole point of this is to document my understanding, the things that I'm studying, what I'm learning, to show my kind of mental journey in like a more of a vlogish conversational style to show y'all how I am working on building riches, how I am coming up inside of this world. And then it creates a situation where we can talk to each other, get some understandings from each other, and then build a nice community into what we've already been doing. So this new segment, this show will have four segments, excuse me. So the first one is money motivation, and that's where I'm going to be talking about today. Abundance is your birthright. Then I'm going to go into financial fitness. We'll break down a particular play that we found out in the field. And then we'll talk about stocks in our counting crypto segment as well, stocks and counting crypto. So let's dive in. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. So let's get to it. Money motivation, right? So I listened to a guy named Ash Cash. Shout out to him at Earn Your Leisure Inside the Vault, right? So he always talks about abundance is your birthright. And that's something that I definitely subscribe to. That's something I prescribe to. And I very much so believe that, right? So if we're looking at abundance is your birthright, even if you're a religious person, you look at in the Bible, early in Genesis, it says the Bible tells us to be fruitful. It tells us to multiply. So when we mean fruitful, right? Fruit comes from a tree that it has the ability to produce. That means the tree is healthy, right? That means the tree has a purpose. That means that tree is providing something, right? And that thing that is providing is the fruit, which is our sustenance. It's value, right? If you look at it in that type of situation. So when we think about ourselves, and I think about myself, I have to then be healthy, right? I have to be a healthy tree, keep my health and my mental health strong. I also have to have some type of purpose. So the purpose here for myself is with Passive Income Network is to create an environment of education, financial literacy, and bring value to myself, my family, and my community in the vein of in the realm of finances, personal development, entrepreneurship. So that's what we're working on. But yeah, at the same time, I'm still in the process of discovery, still learning and becoming better. So that's what we're doing over here. But that's abundance is your birthright, and I 100% believe that. Again, the fruit that we're producing over here are videos, education, value. That's the fruit, abundance. And I believe we were born here to not be in poverty, right? We were born to be great. So that's what we're working on here. And then, so when we talk about why, this is the theme of the show is why I went all in on stocks, right? So my journey to riches, episode 1, okay? So the whole point of me, I was born in poverty, right? I was born to a family, and let me define this: poverty in the United States, in the West Coast, Oregon, California, right? Poverty in the sense of that, for one, growing up, we were poor, financially poor, right? My dad did have a house, but he got on a drug addiction, things of that nature. My memories start more in California. And then when I was in California, I lived in trailers, right? We lived in shelters, motels. We struggled financially, spiritually, and all that. So a part of this, why I went all in on stocks over time, is to escape poverty. That means at some point I was learning, right? I'm learning that I need to invest my money. I'm learning that I need to heal from financial trauma, like Wall Street Trapper says. I'm learning all of these things here, and that's value. You feel me? And then the other thing is to escape this poverty. At the end of the day, I need to help my family. And as a young man with a wife, building his own family, having kids one of these days, I need to make sure we're not in poverty. We need to make sure we have a family, right? And then living free, like Grant Cardone says, money to me is just freedom tokens. That's all it is. It's freedom tokens. Gives me the ability to move how I want, where I want, and do what I want, right? In a comfortable. And when I look at riches, I don't necessarily, have a number to it. I just have a, you know, I want to make sure that we can move smooth and correctly. So that's what we're doing over here, right? So that's why I went all in on stocks, is to escape poverty, help my family, and then I want to live free, and I'm still in this process. And again, as y'all know, abundance is our birthright. So this next segment here, we talked why I went in. We went into money motivation. Now we're going to do our financial fitness. The financial fitness is something that we're going to be studying throughout the week. We're going to be paying attention to. And this week, I want to pay attention to Ian Dunlap's of Market Mondays, 2 tech, 2 index, right? These are some plays. So what we're going to do is talk about each one of these and break down this theory for our financial fitness and get an understanding right here. And I definitely like these picks here. So 2 tech, 2 index. So what he's essentially saying, in Dunlap, essentially saying is a great portfolio for investors who are not that knowledgeable, even for knowledgeable investors, but for investors who are kind of getting started more, who want an easy play, right? So he says 2 tech, 2 index. That means pick 2 tech companies, right? And then pick 2 indices. So first, let's start with the techs. He always recommends Microsoft and Apple. So when we talk about Microsoft as an equity, as a software, a tech company, it is number 1 rotating and number 2 between Apple. So they go back and forth. A long-standing company founded by Bill Gates, right? They do software. They're in every type of enterprise and business. And their latest investment, they own 49% of OpenAI's Chat GPT. That means they have positioned themselves, again, at the head of technology, at the lead of the next wave, right? And that's AI, artificial intelligence. It's been going crazy. So Microsoft, right? It already has over $1 trillion market cap. It's been eaten away at the world, and it's very powerful. So that's one he always talk about, Microsoft. Then number 2, or number 1, rotate those 2, we have Apple. Apple, again, just hit all-time highs, just like Microsoft. These 2 companies have been killing it, you know what I'm saying, year after year after year after year after year after year after year. So Apple dropping new phones, they have the MacBooks, they have all of their app stores, they have wearables, all of those things, right? And if you go look at the charts of Microsoft and Apple, they continuously go up over time. So that's the 2 tech you talk about. One could rotate those with a Google, a Meta, a Tesla, or et cetera. But those 2 are number 1. Microsoft and Apple are number 1. Then he goes into 2 indices. So we'll start with VTI, and that's a Vanguard index, total market index. Excuse me. So excuse me. So excuse me, y'all. So a total market index is essentially, when you buy this index or this version of the ETF, you are buying the whole stock market, essentially. So that's all from Apple, Microsoft, all the way down to some rando stocks. You're going to have the whole market. So when the market goes over year higher, you're going to eat on that. But again, the difference is, like, if you just bought Apple, if Apple goes up 30%, you get that 30%. But if Apple goes up 30% inside of VTI, you won't get a 30% return, right? A good way to look at it, indices, or a difference between indices and stocks and ETFs. So if you go into a store, right? So you go into Walmart, and then you go and grab one product, a soda. That's example of grabbing an equity, one product out of a whole store, right? But the whole store is an index of VTIs. Every product, every company in the world's in there, essentially. But if you go down an aisle and buy all the chips, that's an ETF, right? So you got equities, indices, ETFs, ETFs, indices, they're all essentially made up of equities. Right. Then the next one, the fourth one, he says is VOO, and that is the S&P 500, essentially the top 500 U.S. companies. So we have Microsoft, Apple, VTI, VOO. And if you go to those charts, again, Microsoft up 40-something percent, Apple up 30%, VTI, VOO, killing it this year. They have recovered from the lows. Again, that is our financial fitness for today. Leave any questions or comments next week if you want me to talk about anything else in terms of financial fitness or money mindset. All right. This next segment, we're going to go into stacking stocks. I like to talk about stocks first because stocks, before crypto, because stocks have a long-standing history and there's way more money in stocks. And that's mostly what I'm focused on right now. But we'll get to crypto next. Y'all know I'm a bull on crypto. But NASDAQ. So let's talk about, when we talk about NASDAQ, let me actually pull this up on the screen because NASDAQ is my favorite. I really don't invest or trade the S&P 500. I look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ is the top 100 companies all in one fund, essentially, minus financial services. So I just pulled up Invesco QQQ, which is a way to invest in the NASDAQ. As you see down the bottom, QQQ is the index for the NASDAQ 100 made in 1999. All right, so what we're going to do is I want to show you the details. The top 10 holdings right here. So number one, Microsoft. 12.86%. Then we have Apple, 12.39%. Amazon, 6.91%. Nvidia at less than 6.88%. Meta Platforms Inc. at 4.22%. Then we have Tesla at 4%. Two Alphabet, Alphabet A and Alphabet C. One lets you vote, the other doesn't. And then we have Broadcom, Pepsi, Costco, Adobe, Cisco, and then you can see the list go down. As the list goes lower, you'll see that these companies here get smaller percentages, right? Then Lucid Dreams all the way at the bottom with 0.07%. But the main thing we like to focus on when we think about the QQQ is the top 10. So QQQ delivers exposure to companies that are in the forefront of transformative long-term themes such as augmented reality, cloud computing, big data, mobile payments, streaming services, electric vehicles, and more. Definitely pay attention here, y'all. Definitely pay attention. So then the question goes, let's go to the year to date. The question then goes, are we in a bull market? NASDAQ is on fire. All right, so if we look at the year-to-date return, QQQ is at $362.75 at the time of this video, up $98.27 year-to-date, which goes to 37.14% fire. So if you've been trading it, looking at it, this is something that has performed well. And again, the last 6 months, 37%. That's year to date. If you go to the last year, you're still up 24%, right? With a bottom somewhere in January at 260 something. Look at the last 5 years, we're up 111%. And then the key here is look at max. Ever since this fund dropped, it is up a lot. Okay. So let's get and focus on the year to date. This is important, y'all. Are we on fire? Are we in a bull market? So when I go to pull up a chart here, let's say roughly January. So have some dips back down, then boom, that's when we shoot up. So this is the direction I see it continuously going. NASDAQ, if we go to the day chart, that was the week chart, we have a decline here. right? So this last few days, I'm in my Hakenashi. If I go back to my candles, it gets a little bit more choppier, but you can still see a pullback reverting to the mean. This is my Keltner channels. The 21 moving average is here at this line, and I see it's going up to the upside. So there's something to pay attention to. I like to look at the weekly charts, the daily charts, and then the 4 hour to make my trades, and then definitely the 1 hour as well. And then I like to zoom into the 15, but mostly off of the 4-day and the weekly charts, y'all. Okay, so then that question, is NASDAQ on fire? Yeah, it's on fire, y'all. And the next one I want to show y'all too, one more company that we really looking at is Palantir. Palantir. Here. AI operations for every decision. So Palantir is a software company that deals with AI, data analytics, and a lot of military supply chain logistics and things of that nature. One could feel some type of way investing, but one would say this. If you invest into a Lockheed Martin or any company that deals with war or military or weapons manufacturing, jail and all that, this company is one of those, right? But at the same time, this company has a great technology, and we know in the U.S., defense matters. We're always spending money, billions and billions on defense. So these type of companies are not my favorite, but as an investor, I do see the opportunity in a company like Palantir, a great CEO, a new age of technology. I wanted to talk about it. So I told you why I sold my XRP. I sold it all because, for one, like I said in the video, I want to double down on my bags. So right now, I'm going to tell you I have 4 main bags. That is Ethereum, Bitcoin, Algorand, and Cosmos. The 5th one was XRP, and I had a smaller position compared to the other ones. So I figured, after doing a good analysis, it's like, okay, similar coins. They're both as ISO22s. They both have partnerships. They both deal with payments, very similar. But I've started my investments. They're way bigger in Algorand, and I was like, I need to consolidate so when this thing does pump, I can get the most gains out of it. At one point, I remember having too many coins and too many stocks. So when something did pump 50, 80, 90%, my bag was small, so it didn't affect my overall portfolio the way I wanted to. So instead, I've learned to consolidate. So now if my bag does pump, it will have a lot more multiples there. The only downside, like the comments say on the YouTube, is that I'm out of XRP, right? I'm out of XRP. But there's other ways to get in if I truly want to get in. I'm watching and I'm waiting. And over time, I'm definitely going to be talking to y'all more about XRP, more about Algorand. But again, I think Algorand is undervalued. To see it at a 13-cent coin to, it was at 11 cents and when I sold and bought more of it, sold XRP and bought more. But I just see opportunity, so much opportunity, and I don't want to miss that. You know what I mean? I'll be crazy to miss it. So I know y'all going to go crazy. The XRP army is tough, but it is what it is. So let me know what y'all think below, especially if you think what I'm thinking. Are you valuing Algorand over XRP? Because we will say this, the whole crypto market is in trouble, I would say minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. They seem to have a lot of love, and altcoins, for the most part, don't. So as we wait, we're going to be watching. We're going to be studying. We're going to be making sure that we add to our positions when we can, so that way we can continue our journey to riches and get rich, okay? Get rich. All right, but listen up. Now I want to talk to y'all about my weekly wrap-up and things, what I'm looking this week, what I'm thinking about doing, some things that I did, and then if y'all have any advice, definitely leave it in the chats, right? So this week, I am definitely focused on my charting, right? So this morning, I was looking at charts, QQQ, TQQQ is a leveraged version of QQQ, a little cheaper in terms of price-wise for premiums when you're trading options. So I trade options, and I'm newer to options, started actually at the beginning of this year. I had a real dip in my account in March, rose back out to up 10%. Now I'm about break even, but this last 6 months I have learned so much. I haven't made much money in trading options, but I won some, lost some, won some, lost some. Now I'm about flat right now, looking for the upside. What I really focus in on this week is, like I said, charting, figuring out which leap options I want to continue to go out. Leap meaning long equity type of position, usually a year, 6, 8 months, 18 months. So I have some leap options I'm figuring. We have some swing trades, like something that's going to be about 2 months to expiration. We'll have even something that's about 2 weeks. So I'm using a different strategy right now. I usually try to buy on Wednesdays. I've been seeing that Wednesdays tend to dip a lot, which creates buying opportunities if you're swing trading like I'm doing. So that's what we're looking at, charts and options, and trying to control our impulses, my impulses, control my mental when it comes to prices going down, pullbacks, so that way I can execute and be more precision when I'm making my trades so we can make this money, right? Again, my journey to riches, I'm sharing this with you because I want to continue my mission on Passive Income Network to spread great information about financial literacy. I want to continue to make sure that I'm educated so that way I can be the best I can be as an investor, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, so that way we have the freedom tokens, the access to live the life we want, but at the same time, help the people the way we want. We want to bring value to our communities, whether they're in the digital realm, the physical realm, local, nationally, or international. There's a lot of work to be done, and I'm doing my part, and a part of that is making these videos, educating myself, and then getting this information and bringing it back to you, and then sharing my story and my journey and, interviews and all the things of that nature. So again, if you have any advice, if you have any indicators, like any moving averages, write them in the comments below. I love to study moving averages. Again, this is C. Will with the Passive Income Network. I really appreciate y'all for tapping in. This is episode 1 of my journey to riches. Until the next one, y'all. See you next week. Peace.